Hello everyone. So in this video, I'm going to discuss how can you analyze your mock test performance. All right, let's begin. So before I start with this session, let me just tell you a bit about myself. My name is Aishwarya and I have done my master's in maths from University of Delhi. Prior to that, I did my graduation in mathematics from Miranda House University of Delhi. In total, I have more than 4 years of training experience and I have trained for various entrances like CAT, GRE and GMAT earlier. Okay, so now let me just give you some information regarding the plus and iconic subscriptions that Unacademy offers you. Okay, so if you go for the plus subscription, you will have access to the classes from India's best educators. All the classes are live and interactive. You can get your doubts clarified within the class itself. You will get structured courses and PDFs are downloadable after the end of each and every class. You will also have access to the live test and quizzes that happen on our platform. So this is one of the very important features of our app. Along with all these benefits, all the benefits of the plus subscription will be there in the iconic subscription, and there would be some added benefits as well, like you will get personal attention from your educator. OMET's preparation is also there. You'll get expert guidelines about your GDPI, and if you have any MBA related query, that will be resolved for you. Okay, also you will get test analysis of each and every mock that you give on the platform. Okay, so now this is the price of our CAT plus subscription. So if you go for the plus subscription, personally I would suggest you to go for the 12 months and 24 month subscription if you're starting with the preparation of CAT afresh. Just in case if you have already prepared for CAT once and you just want a refresher course, then you should go for either 3 months or 6 months. Also, if you compare the price of the 6-month subscription with 12 months and 24 months, you can see that this is pretty reasonable, right? So accordingly, you should select. Now you can select the subscriptions you want to take, and over that you can get the 10% off the entire course fee if you use the code AAISH10. All right. Now, this is the price of our iconic subscription. For 12 months, this is 30,000, and for 24 months, this is 41,000. So, over this fees also, you can get 10% off if you use the code AAISH10. All right. Now these are the students who have more than 99 percentile in CAT 2020. So you guys can also join this list if you start with your preparations with us as soon as possible. So they were all from the iconic subscription batch. So I've already explained to you what are the benefits that you get in the iconic subscription. So personal educator is one of the very important feature of iconic. Then you get test analysis and reports. OMET's preparation is also there, and all the benefits of plus subscription are also inclusive in this. Now, this is the information about the batches that are going to start recently. So, we are going to start a batch from 31st of March and 2 batches from 1st of April. So, you still have opportunity to enroll for the course and start your preparations in these batches. Now, this is the information that I would like to inform you that the prices will go up tomorrow. Okay, so the old prices, the 17,500, 21,000, 30,000 and 41,000 that I told earlier are valid till 31st of March only. From 1st of April, the prices would be 22,550 and 32,800 for plus subscription and 39,500 and 67,000 for the iconic subscription. So right now is the best time for you to enroll at the lower prices and get the exact same services and exact same classes of Unacademy. Alright, so you should plan accordingly and go for the subscription in these 2 days only. Okay, now this is a wonderful opportunity for you guys. We conduct this Unacademy Combat Weekly Scholarship. So for this week, it is going to be held on Sunday at 12 p.m. sharp. So the syllabus of this test is same as that of CAT, and the test is going to be of 60 minutes only. So you should give this test. To unlock this test, you can use my code AAISH10. Okay, so as soon as you unlock this test, give this test, and if you get a good score, then definitely you'll get some good scholarship also. Okay, now this is a feature that you should make full use of. This is the Ask a Doubt feature on the app. You just have to go to the app, click on Ask a Doubt tab, then you take the picture, upload the picture of the question you want the solution for, and select the correct subject to which the question belongs. Okay, then our educators will solve the question and you will get the complete solution in detail. Alright, now this is the name of our YouTube channel and this is our Telegram channel. So you should subscribe to these channels so that you can start your preparations for CAT with us as soon as possible. Okay, now let us discuss how can you analyze your mock test performance. Now, first of all, I would like to tell you that this analyzing video that I'm doing right now, this is not only for CAT. This is for other management entrances as well. Okay, so there are certain pointers that you need to keep in mind while analyzing your mock test performance. Okay, let's see. So often students ask that how many mock tests should I give before appearing for my CAT or for my exam SNAP, IFT, how many mocks should I appear for? So see, the rule is that quality is always over quantity. Okay, see, minimum 20 to 25 mock tests that you have to give. All right, this is the minimum number. Okay, but it is equally important that what are you inferring from your mock test performance. If you just keep on giving mocks after mocks and you're not able to identify your weak areas and the areas that need to be worked upon, then giving mocks would be of no use to you. Okay, so you should be able to identify your weak areas. You should be able to analyze your mock test performance completely before you move on to the next mock. Then only the giving the mock test would be beneficial for you. All right, so at least 20 to 25 mock tests you have to give, but this depends from student to student also, that and also when you are starting the preparation. Okay, so I'll be discussing about this point in detail further. Let's see. Okay, so know how many mock tests you need to give. Okay, so since if you are planning for CAT 2021 and you're preparing, you have started the CAT preparation from now, that is from beginning of April or end of March you have started the preparation, then you should be able to identify how many mock tests would you need, and this would be dependent on each student's performance also. Okay, so you should know where do you stand currently. Okay, now common misconception is that generally what students do is that they think that I will complete my entire syllabus, then I'll start with my mock test. Okay, so this is a wrong way of thinking. This is what you need to avoid. Okay, you can start with your mock test once you are done with at least 40 to 50% of your syllabus. Okay, so once you are done with some part of your CAT preparation, you should start giving mocks. Okay, now let's see. Now you have to understand your exam pattern. Okay, so if you think that you are preparing for CAT and you will appear for CAT mocks, and this will help me in my preparation for NMAT, IFT and other OMITs also, then this is not the right way of thinking, because the exam, obviously the syllabus is somewhat same, most of the syllabus is same, but the exam pattern is not same, so the strategy should be different. Okay, so for that you need to understand the exact exam pattern. Okay, because the pattern of CAT is different from IFT, is different from NMAT. In NMAT there is no negative marking, but there is negative marking in CAT and IFT. All right, so these are certain pointers that you need to keep in mind before you start with your mock test. All right, now consistency is the key. This is very important. Okay, why? Because see, suppose if you give a mock today, then you're appearing for a mock after 1 month, then you appear for a mock just after 7 days. Okay, or whenever you feel like you appear for a mock. Okay, so this is not the right way. You should be consistent with your mocks. Okay, you should analyze each and every mock test properly. So analyzing a mock test would require at least 2 hours if you do it in a proper way. All right, let us discuss that. Now next, a tip I would like to give you, that you should always store the rough sheet. Okay, let's see why do you need to store that rough sheet. This also I'll be discussing further. Okay, now in the verbal section. So in the verbal section, if you're appearing for an online exam, okay, a computer based exam, it is an on-screen passage that you come across. Now see, while reading the passage you might find a new word that you haven't heard before, you haven't read before. Then you should always take a note of the new word that you come across. So you should make a list of all the new words that you're unaware of till now. Okay, so this will help you in building your vocabulary also. Next is that you should ask yourself, am I selecting the right set or passage? Why? See, why should you ask yourself this? Because see, there are 34 questions in the CAT VARC section, right? In other exams also the number of questions might be different in the verbal section, but you have to select which passage you want to solve first, which passage you want to answer first, and which passage you want to answer the last or after. Okay, so there is a certain order of your difficulty that you need to set. Okay, so this is something that you need to work on. Also, you can discuss this point with your educator, with your verbal educator, that which set to select and what should be your order in which you have to solve the questions. Okay, so now this point could be different for each and every person. Okay, so if you feel that parajumbles is difficult for me but reading comprehension is easy for me, so this is quite comprehensive. That is dependent on each student. So that is something that you need to decide on your own. Okay, now are you able to go through all the questions? Do you feel that the time is up and I'm left with a lot of questions? Okay, so this is something that you need to work upon. Time management is very necessary when you appear for any mock test. Okay, so it is possible that in the first 1 or 2 mocks you will face difficulty in time management. Maybe you will fall short of time, right? But eventually you have to overcome this. Okay, so when you're on your at least fourth, fifth, or sixth mock, then you should be able to at least go through all the questions. Okay, so please work on your time management also. Now, do you have time remaining after attempting all questions? So some students are too fast in attempting the questions. They have time remaining after attempting the questions. Then what should you do in the time which is remaining after answering all the questions? Obviously in CAT you cannot move on to the next question. Then what should be done? Okay, so ideally you should revise all the questions again. You should go through the questions that you think that there that you think that there is some doubt or you might want to reconsider them. All right, so this is also you have to discuss with your educator. So plan accordingly. Okay, is my on-screen reading speed slow? So you need to build stamina for reading online. Okay, on the screen. Okay, why? Because when we read on paper, when we read from book, obviously the reading speed is more because we have been doing this from our school days, right? So your on-screen reading speed should be enough to so that when you read, you should be able to comprehend everything, understand everything. Okay, so please work on this. And if your on-screen reading speed is perfect, then that is great. Okay, so this is something that you need to work upon. All right, now in the logical and DI section, okay, the first and very most important point, especially in the DI sets, is that you should not struggle in calculations. Okay, now struggling in calculations, what do I mean by this? Now see, suppose if there is a small multiplication that is involved in any question. For example, you have to calculate 15 into 62. So there are two ways. The classical way, either you will do it like this, okay, you solve it like this, or but in the exam you should be able to solve this quickly. Within just 5 seconds you should be ready with your answer. So for this you should know what are the tables. You should be very fluent with the mathematical tables from 1 to 20 at least. Okay, now how will I solve this question? How should this question be solved ideally? Let's see. So what is 15 into 6? It is 90. It means 15 into 60 would be 900. What is 15 into 2? 30. So I will add 30 to 900 and the answer would be 930. So this is how this calculation needs to be done. Okay. But if you're doing this multiplication by the classical approach, that you're doing 5 into 2 is 30, then this is 330, then uh, okay, ideally, okay, this way when you're in the classical way when you're solving it, but this is not the right way. This is the way that you need to follow in your MBA exam, in your entrance exam. Okay, because you're short of time, there's a timer running, so you need to be concentrating on both the things. Okay, and right now if you are at a stage where you are doing the calculations in this way and not in this way, then you need to concentrate on your calculations first. Okay, so spend at least 1 hour daily in practicing calculations. Learn the tricks and techniques to solve to make to do the calculations in fast manner. Okay, so this is an important point that needs to be worked upon by each and every student. All right, let's see. Now am I selecting a right set? Now see, in the logical reasoning and DI section, there are sets given. So a paragraph would be there, and then there would be 4 or 5 questions that you need to answer. Okay, but the sets would range from medium to high difficulty level. So some other sets of medium difficulty level that you should be able to identify and definitely answer. Some tough sets also, if you have time and if you have If you have learned, then you should be able to answer. But there are some sets that are very, very, very difficult. Okay, so my objective is not to answer each and every question. My objective is to answer the questions accurately. Okay, so this you should be able to understand, that if you feel that a set would take a lot of time in finalizing the arrangement and answering, then you should better to leave that set and move on to the next set. Okay, later when you're done with all the questions, then you have time, then you can return to that particular set. Okay, so this is also this dependent on each person, each student. So this is something that you need to ask yourself, and accordingly you should pace your performance. All right, now are you able to go through all the questions? Again, time management is very important, that this is something that you need to work upon. Do you have time remaining after attempting all the questions? That this can also happen. Okay, so there are some students who can answer the questions very quickly, so this might lead to silly mistakes also, and silly mistakes are very painful, right? Sometimes what happens is that there is a fairly easy question and you know how to solve the question, but what you did was you wrote 2 into 4 is 6. Okay, so this is an example of a silly mistake. I know that all of us know that 2 into 4 is 8, but just because you were hurrying and you were, anything could be the reason, so you wrote it as 6. So this type of mistakes are very painful. Later you always regret them, so please make sure that you avoid such mistakes. All right, now you should always store the rough sheet or the scratch paper in which you are solving while doing the mock test. Why? Because suppose if you have 60 minutes, okay, you are done with all the questions in 50 minutes. Okay, but there was certain question that I tried solving, but I didn't attempt it because I wasn't able to get the exact answer. I was not sure whether that answer is correct. So now you have 10 minutes remaining. You can go back to that question. Now when you go back to that question, you don't have to start solving this question from the first step. Okay, if you if you have maintained your scratch paper, then you can start from that step where you left off. Okay, so this will help you in saving the time also. So this is something that you need to work upon. Now when you store the rough sheet, after the test is over, after the mock test is over, you can analyze your performance. Okay, and you can see what work you have done. Okay, so to recall everything, this would be important. So it is always beneficial to store the rough sheet, at least till you analyze your mock test performance. All right, I hope I'm clear with this. Now certain pointers for the quantitative aptitude section. So again, are you able to go through all the questions? This is something you need to ask yourself. Do you have time remaining after attempting all the questions? So these 2 points focus on your time management. Okay, all right. So you will have to work upon time management, very important. Okay, now store the rough sheet and scratch paper. So this rule of LRDI applies to quantitative aptitude also. Okay, maintain the scratch paper so that when you have time left, you can go back to the previous questions and just recheck the calculations, or if there was any question that you couldn't attempt earlier, you should try that again. All right, now do you remember the right formula required to solve the questions? For example, there is a question 7295. Okay, so there is a number. You have to find sum of all the factors of n. Okay, so in the number theory unit, in the number theory section, we learned the formula to calculate sum of all factors. We learned the formula to calculate the total number of factors of a number, right? But remembering the right formula while solving the question is important. Okay, so this is what you need to work upon. Okay, so just in case, if you know that this is a question I can answer easily, but I don't know the formula, I forgot the formula, I knew the formula, but at this moment I forgot it. Okay, so remembering the formulas is very important. What I suggest is that you can make a small notebook in which you note down all the mathematical formulas in short form, and before giving any mock test, you can just revise all the formulas. Okay, please don't use this formula book while solving the mock test at home, because then this would be cheating, and this will wrongly affect you only. You won't be able to understand where do you stand right now. Okay, so please make sure that you know all the formulas by heart before you attempt your mock test. All right, Now, have you done some silly mistakes? Again, silly mistakes are very painful and should be avoided. Try to minimize your silly mistakes. All right. Now, certain pointers that you need to know that would be helpful for you for analyzing. So, see, if you are giving the mock test at this time, after 3 hours, your mock test is done. You have the score. If you have the score immediately, you can take a break of some time and then you can start analyzing your score. Don't wait for 2 or 3 days uh, for analyzing, because what will happen is that you will forget what type of mistakes you have done and what type of question that came. Okay, so it is always beneficial to analyze immediately after getting the result. You can take a break of an hour and but analyze on the same day. Okay, solve all the questions again, even the correct ones. Sometimes what happens is that if there was a question that you attempted in the exam and it was a correct question, okay, but you had solved that question in 3 minutes, this is not acceptable that you spend 3 minutes on one question. Okay, so try solving all the questions again. See if this question could maybe this question could have I could have solved this question in lesser time. Okay, was my strategy correct? Was the way I followed while solving the question correct? So ask yourself these questions so that you can improve in the next mock test. Now you need to identify your weak areas. Okay, and you should identify your strong areas also. Why? Because I will answer the questions from my strong areas first, then I will move to the questions from my weak areas. If I feel that I can solve all the geometry questions, most of the questions from geometry are correct. Okay, so I will solve all the questions from geometry and mensuration first, then I'll move towards PNC if PNC is my weaker topic. Okay, so accordingly you have to identify. Now this would depend from each, this is relative to each and every student. Some feel that geometry is their strong area, some feel that number systems is my strong area. So accordingly you should be able to select and pace up your performance. Okay, now working on pacing and speed. Your speed is quite important here. You cannot answer all the questions incorrectly by just because you have to maintain the speed, you cannot solve all the questions incorrectly. So speed, and the next very important thing is accuracy. So you need to work on your speed and accuracy both. Okay, now, suppose initially in the first 3 or 4 mocks, you're facing difficulty with pacing, with your time management. So try to work on it. What you suppose, how can you work on it? So make a list of 10 questions. Okay, take 10 questions, time your performance. So when you're in the starting phase of your performance, if you feel that 10 questions will require 20 minutes, okay, it is fine. Okay, but when you go for the next set of 10 questions, okay, they should take just 15 minutes, in the next maybe just 12 minutes. Okay, so this is how you can work on your speed. Also you have to see how many questions you have answered accurately. Okay, so this is something that you need to work upon yourself. Each student should work upon this, and this will definitely help them in working on their pacing and speed. All right, now you should always note your observations. For example, I gave a mock test and I observed that all the questions of geometry are correct, but all the questions I have made silly mistakes in the algebra questions. Okay, so these are certain observations that you should note somewhere, so that when you are giving the next mock test, you should not make these mistakes. Okay, and suppose if you are not done with your CAT preparation yet, there are certain units that are remaining. Okay, but you have given a mock. So in this case, you should make sure that the questions that you have answered from the topics that you have already covered, they shouldn't be wrong. Okay, this is how you should be able to improve. Okay, now you can plan your next mock. Now right now, after analyzing the entire score report, you know that these are my weak areas. I need to work on these areas before giving your next mock. Okay, so make a target for yourself that I will finish this topic in another 3 days or 4 days, then I'll give a mock test. Okay, so this is how you should do the planning. This again will depend from each student. depend on every student's performance and preparation. Now make sure you do not repeat the same mistakes. Like, see, if you're repeating the same mistakes, it means you're not learning from your performance earlier. So this is something which is very crucial to each and every student and an important point. You don't have to attempt all the questions. Okay, your objective here is to not attempt all 100 questions of CAT. Your objective is to minimize the wrong answer. Your objective is that your number of answers that you answer incorrectly should be zero. Okay, this is something that you need to focus on. If you feel that there is one question and I have spent 5 minutes in this question or 3 minutes in this question, okay, still I am not getting the answer, but I will mark it because I have spent time here. So this is not the correct way. This is something that you should not do at all. Okay, so what you need to do is that if you are doubtful about any question, leave it, because there is a penalty for the wrong answer. But if this is a mock test of NMAT, then you're good to go. There is no negative marking there. And if you are attempting a TETA question, type in the answer type of questions, then also you can just, if you are unable to solve the question, you can guess, you can put in the answer, because there is no negative marking. All right. Okay. Alright, so I hope I have told you certain pointers, and you might have got some clarity over how to analyze your mock test performance. If there is something you want me to discuss further, or if there is some area you want more clarification on, then you can please comment below this video so that I can take up other video on that also. Alright, so I hope this video was useful for you and you have got some clarity in your mind. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you some of the benefits of the Plus subscription. So if you go for the Plus subscription, you will have access to the classes from top educators, live quizzes, everything will be there. You will get expert guidelines about GDPI and MBA related queries also. Now, the steps to subscribe are pretty simple. You just have to type Unacademy on the Google Play Store and install the Learning app. As soon as you'll install the Learning app, you have to select CAT as your goal and click on Get Subscription. As soon as you click on Get Subscription, you have to select your subscription. Use the code AAISH10 there to get the instant 10% off the course fee. Alright. Now, this is the name of our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to this to get access to all the amazing videos about MBA. Now, if you like this video, please share it with your friends and family so that they can also get benefits from it if they're preparing for MBA. This is the name of my Telegram channel. You can subscribe to the channel to get access to my links of my special as well as YouTube classes. All right. Thank you so much.